Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. 7 weeks of the IPL are over. 10 teams started, 4 teams remain, and it took till basically 19.1 overs of the final of the 70th game for us to know who that fourth team would be. Just, DJ, so much to unpack here, so many different things. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we're missing Varun today, but nice to be live with you. How are you doing? How are you feeling after 70 games?
Yeah, it's 70 games. How many days has it been? I don't know, 52 days, I think is the stat.
Sounds right. March 31st. So 30 plus 21. Yeah, 52 plus one.
We have our four teams, and as you said, it took to the last over of the last league game for us to find out who those four teams are. We knew Gujarat had already qualified. We knew yesterday that CSK and LSG had gone through, but that left three teams vying for that last spot today. Obviously, Rajasthan Royals. I'm wearing pink today, interestingly.
Are
So,
you representing
um,
Rajasthan?
I mean, they had a great season to a point, right? And Yashaswi is one of my newest favorite players. So, I was kind of hoping to see more of him, see him maybe pick up the orange cap as an uncapped player. Second one to do that after Rutu. Um, but I mean, what drama we've seen 300s on a Super Sunday.
300s. And then a few
That's
things I'll add in, right? One, two players separately making back to back centuries. Gill made him back to back matches, and then Kohli made them back to back matches. The first time we saw centuries in we've seen 2 centuries in an innings before. We have not seen 1 century by a player on each side before. Till I guess it was Klassen.
Klassen, and then that was done by Kohli. Kohli chased the runs, right, against
Correct.
everybody.
That was Klassen and Kohli. And then you had just now, hot off the
No, but
presses
he
as we
had
wrapped up.
Yashaswi, and Yashaswi also lost a game, but there was no 100 in
He
that game. Yeah,
lost, but hundreds
yeah,
in both innings. It's happened for I
correct.
saw the stat on TV, so if it's wrong, then that's on them. But hundreds by a player in each team in the same match happened for the first time with Kohli and Klassen, and Kohli came out victorious. And now it's happened for the second time in 14 years. It's happened the second time as the king made an absolutely magnificent century to keep his team what we thought was alive. And then the prince came and just outdid him.
Only to
104
be
off
upstaged by the
52 runs.
prince. I
Just,
mean,
I mean, there's so much drama, so much poetry. It's unbelievable. But DJ, I don't actually know where to start, so we're going to just start with this last game and go in reverse order and see what
yeah,
happened during the week.
let's
The
do
week
it.
started really quickly. The week started with Hyderabad getting knocked out by Gujarat. Right, they had to win to stay alive. Nobody really thought they would. They didn't. Then the Lucknow Mumbai game was really interesting because Lucknow's win made the rest of the week more precarious for Mumbai. Delhi then out of the tournament knocked out Punjab, no question about it. Bangalore then beat Hyderabad to make it pretty likely that Hyderabad would finish last, which they did. Rajasthan managed to get the win against Punjab, but still left too much in the hands of other teams by this point, thanks to a great innings by Padikkal. CSK then secured their second place position by absolutely thrashing Delhi, which honestly the right result
I think
because
we've lost like 9 times in a row against CSK now.
I mean I can't even keep up. And then we got to the three important matches of the weekend, and we'll go in reverse order. But Lucknow KKR, almost another Rinku Singh moment of magic, but KKR fell short. Hyderabad, Mumbai needed to stay alive. Cameron Green, Rohit Sharma came with some magic and won that game. And then the heartbreak if you're a Kohli fan, the joy if you're a Hardik Pandya Gujarat Titans fan, and just the future of Indian cricket watching Shubman Gill. But let's talk about this game then. Kohli makes 101 of 61 balls. Maxwell, Duplessis, Lomror, Bracewell. I mean, okay, Bracewell I know did a little bit, but nobody really showed up. I mean, 197 at the Chinnaswamy in a must-win game. It's not bad, but it's not great. And the fact that only one batter showed up was not enough, right?
You've also forgotten the drama with rain.
Yeah. So yes, RCB
It was
needed two
everything.
points. RCB needed 2 points, and it rained basically all of yesterday. And so there was a point when we thought it wouldn't happen at all. And then the toss got delayed. And then after the toss, the covers came back on for a few minutes. I mean, actually, DJ, to that point, impressive that we got a full game, right?
Yeah, we got a full game. We got it's a fast draining outfield, to be honest, but there have been washouts. And once Mumbai had won the game, um, there was no option. I mean, if Mumbai had lost, RCB wouldn't have minded a washout because they would have gone to 1 point more than Mumbai, right?
Yeah.
But
So
I mean,
there was
commiserations, guys.
it's amazing too to think all the net run rate talk all week, and it did matter for some teams here and there, but at the end of it, the equation became simple. It became Mumbai did what they had to, and then they were sitting waiting, and RCB win and through, lose or rain, and they're out.
But also look at the last game. I mean, Mumbai's beating basically a bottom place team. Yeah, um that's their agenda.
So let me ask you
Whereas
this. Let me ask you a
RCB has to beat the champions to
yeah.
get through.
So I've said this before on the show, but for new listeners, I'm going to say it again. If you're a soccer fan or a football fan in the English Premier League, we're a week away from it. The final game of the season. Now, it's not going to matter for the first place teams. Congratulations to Manchester City, which I have to say begrudgingly on this show. But the final game of the season, every team kicks off at the same time, and it's pretty amazing because you're like at halftime you're checking what's happening across the country, different results. You don't know what needs to happen. Should you think, DJ, Mumbai and RCB have played their last games at the same time? Mumbai walked in with an advantage. They knew what to do up front, and then RCB knew exactly what the equation was, right? Like, should you think the last round, and then same thing, Lucknow, KKR, all theoretically you could have all five of the final games being played at the same time. You'd lose some eyeballs, but how cool would that be?
It would be very cool. It would be very cool. It would leave people not being able to make decisions based on what's happened in other games. I mean,
Yeah.
you would just be doing whatever you're doing, playing independently, which is kind of what Kohli alluded to a little bit, right? Like, and as Kohli fans and having DC out of the tournament, I was actually going to ask you, how do you feel about the four teams that have qualified? Because I was backing RCB to get there because it's been a long time. I mean, they're one of the other. All the three franchises that haven't won are out again. So we're not going to have a new winner. It's really dull watching Chennai play like Mumbai and like the whatever El Clasico chatter go on. Sorry guys, I'm a big Dhoni fan, and of course I love the individual players in Mumbai, but the fan base is yeah not something that I'm really into there because
I feel like you need to acknowledge the comment on the screen.
yeah, I mean, it says again CSK versus MI final loading total waste of 2 months. I don't know. I
I
think
don't agree with that part, by the way.
no,
And
but
by
I
the
mean,
way,
I'm a massive
Lucknow
fan of like
and
MI
Lucknow,
players
Lucknow could be a
individually.
new winner, right?
You could have a new winner. You are
Yeah,
right.
just to clarify that record.
So
But yeah,
maybe I'm going to be supporting, but they've got a hard road to get there, man.
yeah, no, I agree. But mathematically, they could. Listen on the comment that came in, and we will debrief some of the details. But we're getting distracted. But on the comment that came in against about CSK versus MI, it seems crazy to think one team got 20 points from 14 games, is last year's champion, and we're riding them off. Like that seems crazy. And
No,
objectively, statistically,
yeah,
everything, you have to back Gujarat. They
yeah,
have two chances to make a
yeah.
final, and they've won 10 out of their 14 games.
And they cruise this chase without anything to gain from it.
Yeah,
They sent
one
out
they could
Vijay
have. They
Shankar.
sent Shanaka at 4. Hardik didn't even bat. Like, just crazy.
It's what you said. Hardik's become MS 2.0, right? He
Why
doesn't
did
come out to
why,
bat,
why did I
bowl.
make him my fantasy vice captain today? And he didn't bowl, didn't bat. I mean, let's be clear. I had 2 centuries. I had Green and Kohli. So that was a good day for me. But yeah, how can Hardik not bat? Like, he didn't
Yeah,
even need to.
I had Gill by the way, so that was good for me.
I'm
But
not
we'll
looking
come
at
to
you
all of that.
anymore.
But
You're too far down.
oh wow,
All right.
wow.
Let's focus on the cricket.
Yeah, so CSK versus MI. I don't know. I think it's quite a hard gig beating LSG. It'll be at Chennai. Let's remember that. It's not something that Mumbai have done really. Are we getting into the playoffs already? Sorry, maybe we shouldn't do that.
No, let's talk about what happened, and then we'll come back in the second
Yeah.
half and do the
Okay.
playoffs. So RCB Gujarat, I mean, phenomenal century by Kohli. Just spare a thought quickly then to talk for Virat Kohli, who makes a absolutely phenomenal century, and then the Shubman Gill show. I mean, Vijay Shankar's third half century this season, Shubman's second back-to-back century, and I mean, this team just looks like, and you can look. They brought in Shanaka at 4. They were trying it out. David Miller didn't perform today, and they still look unstoppable. I mean, when they needed a wicket, Noor showed up, then Rashid showed up, then Noor showed up again. I mean, t- does Gujarat have any glaring flaws? And we're not talking playoffs yet. Let's just talk about this match.
No, not in. I mean, there was a bit of misfielding. There was a bit of untidiness towards the
Yeah.
end. I think Shanaka slid past one. There was there were there were few they were slow to get to. But I mean, they look pretty well oiled, man, as a machine. And when they chase, I think they've chased like 7 or 8 times this season, and they've won 100% of those games.
Yeah. So I mean, gutted for Bangalore. Like they just,
Yeah,
I don't know how many years we have left of Virat in Bangalore colors. I don't remember who said it. KP said maybe we'll see him go home and finish his IPL career at Delhi, which is a dream for us. But I don't. It's disappointing. It's a little bit of heartbreak, and you couldn't sit there and say why didn't Gujarat play a second string team? Why didn't they try? They were not only guaranteed top four, they were guaranteed top two.
yeah.
So yeah, thoughts, DJ?
So one silver lining first about that. Kohli is now going to fly early to England for the World Test Championship
Yes,
final,
that's true. That
and
is
he
true.
will be angry.
Hmm.
He will again. It's been what 15 years of the IPL, right? And this must hurt. It's the same story again and again. 200 is not enough at the Chinnaswamy. And they
Yeah, but
didn't bowl badly this time. I mean,
yeah,
it's just a small ground and you can score quickly on it. And I think, I mean, there are no glaring deficiencies. I think they batted really well. I think the GT looked good. I just feel for the RCB fans year after year because if not, I guess if not DC, we'd like to see RCB fans uh, taste
yeah.
some success.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the first game on the Super Sunday, where you said another century happened. And I want to talk a little bit about how that century came up. But let's start with Hyderabad versus Mumbai. Not a lot at stake for Hyderabad. They're eliminated already. Everything on the line for Mumbai. A win keeps them alive. A loss basically sends them out, unless some interesting net run rate math, but very unlikely. Hyderabad makes 200, right? So Hyderabad ending the season saying, listen, we're out. We're going to bring back some of our older guys, try out some new guys. So Vivrant Sharma opened. Mayank Agarwal opened with him. 83 off 46 balls. And Vivrant made a nice 69. They lost a few wickets and didn't quite end up where they could have, but 200, not a bad total. But talk to me about the choice to bring Mayank back up. Like, what is the kind of point of that? Are they just assessing out next year? There's no mega auction, so do they just want to keep the game plan for him?
There's no not much thinking, I think,
There's
on
no
Mumbai.
logic. They're
It's
just
just
saying,
like
yeah,
give him a game, send
yeah,
him up. He opened
yeah,
the batting. I mean, he was really successful for Punjab doing that, right?
yeah.
And he had a couple of nice knocks early in the season as well. Fell away his form a little bit, so it's good confidence boosting game for him. So I was pleased to see that. I'm a big Mayank fan. It's interesting he's not really in the conversation for the World Test Championship at all.
It was like
Uh,
2-3 years ago. He was right up there in the conversation for all
Yeah,
test cricket. Yeah,
and having Shreyas injured, I mean, you thought maybe Mayank might get a look in, but
yeah.
that's not happened. Of course, Rahane's made his way back in. Um,
Let me ask you
yeah,
about. Let me ask you
not
about.
much logic there, I think.
Yeah, let me ask you about a comment that's coming in from randomly systematic about Aiden Markram in particular. Two things I think happened at the toss in the last couple of games. One, they asked about Umran, and he said, "Yeah, Umran's a gun player, an X factor. Could be an X factor. I'm not sure why he's not playing." And then two, at today's toss, they said, "What's your side?" He's like, "We have a few changes. I don't know what they are." And so we've talked about this a little, right? Like Shikhar has alluded a little to decision making in his camp, not 100% being him. Markram pretty clearly is implying, listen, I'm on the on field captain, but I don't make team selection decisions. Like, do you think that's a fundamental problem with the Hyderabad camp?
So I think Hyderabad have had issues in the past. Tom Moody used to be their coach, quite a strong personality, a very successful coach on the T20 circuit as well. And I think he's the one, interestingly, that brought up the fact that Markram wasn't in charge on ESPN Cricket Info show, which I find particularly ironic because I think he clashed with a bunch of players while he was at SRH after leading them to some pretty successful runs. Yeah, I mean, there's nobody who stands out as being in charge there, right? And that's the issue. I mean, you had the Warner era, I guess. You've got people like Pandya who are clearly on field in charge. Yes, they take help by people like um, you've got Ashish Nehra on the sidelines. You've got Vijay Dahia and all those guys on the sideline helping them out. Gambhir is another one at LSG, but he's got Krunal Pandya, and I don't see Krunal Pandya actually hanging back too much because he's a pretty fiery character, and I don't think he's going to be told
Yeah.
what to do.
And I think there's an element of how much you're really involved in the decision making and how much you're not, but you still say, yeah, as a leadership group, we've decided not to play Omran. Like Markham just seems like he was fine saying, yeah, I don't know, man, these guys made the call without me, which just doesn't seem. I mean, he's captain of his country. He's like, it just didn't seem right. But
Yeah.
let's not keep talking about that. Let's talk about the chase, right? 200 for 5. Hyderabad thinking, okay, we might end the season on a pretty good note. Similar to
And
what you
I was
said
pretty
about
stressed there because I was like, Delhi's going to go like,
last.
would
Yeah,
we have been last?
I think so from a points table standpoint.
No, we would have been on equal number of points, I think.
Yeah, but we have a worse net run rate to them. So yes, if they had
Oh,
gotten 10
so we
points
would have.
and improved their net run rate, we would have been last. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
that was
silver
important.
lining to Mumbai winning, I guess.
But let's talk about the chase, right? 200 is not enough at the Chinnaswamy, probably not enough some days at the Wankhede too. And you're expecting a Surya Kumar Yadav, maybe some fireworks lower in the order. And Cameron Green comes back at 3, right? Kishan and Rohit opened. Cameron Green, 23-year-old, like the way he was striking the ball was just absolutely magnificent. And then let's talk to me about Rohit. Honestly, I'm going to get hate for this, but a pretty poor innings. Like you look back and 56 of 37, 150, good partnership with Cam Green. I mean, the partnership was 128, but he got dropped twice. He edged it a lot. He was not seeing that timing. So I'm sitting here saying it's best case scenario for Team India that Rohit and Sky are back into form before the ODI World Cup, before the Test Championship. But I don't know if I can really look at that and say I saw Rohit back in form. What are your thoughts?
No, it wasn't. It was scratchy. I think that's what you're getting at, right? It was scratchy. But what I will say is that I was kind of hoping that Rohit gets some downtime. He's had like a bit of fitness stuff. It would be nice for him to get to England a bit earlier, and he's important for the World Test Championship final. The last one-off Test match we had here, he didn't play. He had COVID, I think, which was against England last year. But the Cam Green innings, Ashwin, and of course we had the Fab Four. I mean, I think Martin Crowe came up with that term a few years ago because that was identified as Root, Kane, Kohli, and Smith some time ago. And I think the new Fab Four, I think we saw two of them today score magnificent hundreds.
Shubman and Cam? Are you saying next gen Fab?
Shimon and Cam. So
Have you
that's two
kicked
of
out
them.
the other centurion from the Fab Four? Kohli just scored a century.
No. The
kicking
new
him out.
Fab Four is what I'm saying. The next
Okay.
generation. I mean, these are guys that are clearly a different generation, right?
Yeah.
They're not the same
Who
generation
are the other two
as
in your
those.
next gen Fab Four?
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you have another two young guns? I think Manas is probably a bit older. He's probably in Smith's
Yeah.
generation.
What format are you talking about? All format?
All format. That's the point with the Fab Four, right? That's what they do it.
I'm
Oh,
trying to
we're getting
think.
some great comments, by the way. One which says against the SRH bowlers, even DJ would have scored 100. Just need to get past Bhuvi. So
So
someone
one.
has more faith in my cricketing abilities than you guys. Which is
No,
good.
I think we should both be offended because they're saying even DJ is the benchmark of how bad they are, and I'm offended that they didn't say even I would. Like I'm both. Whoever Rahul is writing it from the comments, we're both offended now because you are the benchmark of how
I'm
bad
not
SRH
offended.
is,
I'm
and I
okay
didn't
with
even
that.
know. Anyway,
I'm okay with that.
um, but great chase, right? Full credit to Cameron
Yeah.
Green. We can debate the next gen Fab Four or send in your comments in addition to Green and Gill. Who are the other global players who are next gen? Kind
Or
of maybe under
terrific
20,
three. I don't know.
under
Tricky.
25 is the kind of cutoff.
Yeah.
I think we'd say. So let us know who you think. But yeah, let's talk about.
Yashaswi could be another one.
Yeah, I think he has the ability, but he's not there. He's never played for the country yet, right?
Mm.
Like so, until you do. But great knock by from Cam Green, and that kept Mumbai alive. Let's talk about the other must-win game that happened this weekend on Saturday. So the second game of Saturday at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Lucknow fighting to try to get into the top two, which obviously didn't end up happening. They weren't able to win by enough of a margin. It needed to be a pretty big margin, so unlikely. Make 176 thanks to Nicholas Puran. Honestly, not a great day for Lucknow with the bat. And then KKR. Do you remember that chase? So started all guns blazing. Looked like KKR wanted to finish it off
Yeah.
quickly.
Because
Roy and
if
Nabi.
they had got to the target, which is absurd, 176, I think in 8.4 overs or
Yeah,
something, they would have
I think
gone
it was
ahead of
9. Yeah, 9.2 or whatever.
RR.
Yeah.
But for a moment, it looked like they may be trying to get that.
They would have gone ahead of RR's RR.
RR's NRR, net run
No,
rate.
don't. I was trying to make it more catchy than RR's and RR. But anyway,
RRRR.
so let's talk about this, right? They ended up being 60 odd in the power play, and then three reasonably quick wickets fell. And by the 10th over, Rinku walks in at 60, at what did he walk in? 82 for three, right? Jason Roy's gone, Nitish Rana's gone, Venkatesh Iyengar's gone. So now you have on paper Rinku, Russell, and then Shardul and Narayan, who are all rounders, and apparently. But yeah, I mean, obviously, and the result ended up falling 1 run short, right? And yet you sit there saying Rinku Singh, 67 off 33, not out, ends the innings with 6 4 6, just fell short of one boundary. Is it asking too much to have the same guy continue to win games for you? Like, how do you feel about that? Do you give him credit for it? Would you rather have him swung for the fences and got out sooner than leave it 1 run short? Or yeah, did he do everything right and you blame the rest of the team?
So I think he did everything right. I mean, they needed 40 odd to get off the last 2 overs, and he lost by 1 run, and that's because he's gone 6 4 6. And if he'd gone 6 6 6 like he'd done the last time, they would have won. And Lucknow, I don't know what would have happened to Lucknow actually. That would have been quite interesting. But I mean, honestly, KKR finished I think on 12 points for the season. I don't
Yeah,
think
so
they.
Lucknow actually would have
Yeah.
qualified still with 15. Now, having seen the rest of the matches play out, KKR
Okay.
would have been 14, and I wouldn't have been enough, obviously, with the way the math went. But that's
Okay.
what they needed at the time to stay alive, right?
Yeah, so it wasn't such a crazy call to say that KKR might qualify because the points table was actually pretty close by the end of it.
all the way through Thursday, basically Thursday, you had Delhi and Hyderabad out, and you had Gujarat through, but even
Yeah.
CSK hadn't qualified till they beat Delhi.
And this put RR out, I think, this result because
Correct.
they couldn't go past.
Correct.
Uh,
Once Lucknow got 17, and RR couldn't
no, but
get
RR
to.
went out today. Sorry, when
Yeah. They could
in
technically. They
the
just
final
needed a big
results.
win.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean,
Which is
amazing, right?
crazy because RR was winning everything. If
Yeah,
you
they
remember, like
started their
they
season.
seemed
I mean,
slam dunk to get in, but they just
if
had those
I think they were
awful
on
tactical
everybody. They
decisions.
were on everybody's short list of teams to qualify. I mean, in the last, they started their season with 4 wins out of 5. Then they lost 2 in a row. They lost 5 out of the next 6, and then they won 2 of the last 3. They just couldn't pull it together. DJ, super interesting. Last 3 games of the season. The CSK Delhi before that locked in CSK into the second position, but just Devon and Ruturaj did well. Delhi did horrendously. Same old story.
I mean, it's been a 146 for 9 or 146 for 8 type of season. It's just been so mediocre, man.
Yeah, that's
It's just been so
absolutely
poor.
right way to describe it. But we're going to take a quick break. Let's come back and we will talk about the playoffs. 4 teams in the playoffs, quick qualifier eliminator format, lots to uncover, and we'll start talking about how we're feeling about it. So, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. DJ, 70 games. Group stages are done. Man, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. Monday is the first day. This always happens to me, but tomorrow or Monday is the first day in 52 days that there's no IPL game. Then there's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and that's going to be it. And then before you realize it, we're 10 days out from the World Test Championship final. So cricket never stops. I want to talk to you about the playoff teams, but I'm going to put a comment up on the screen and give some hate back. The comment from Randomly Systematic says, I remember a comment made by DJ before the season started. Sanju will play 2 great innings and then cool it down. That's what happened to the whole team. DJ, why are you laughing? Who said this?
It was actually you that said that.
It was
Sanju.
100% me.
Yeah,
I
but
made
this is
him my
also a thing
impact
that's
player for
just
the first
known.
2 games.
We make him
that I
captain for
said,
2 games and
That's
then
it.
we drop him for the rest
And
of the
I
season.
did that for my fantasy and it was perfect. I had 2 good
Yeah.
games from him and then it was out. But so anyway,
Yeah,
just
it's a
would like to
credit
recognize
to
that
you
was
for
me.
that one, taking the hate for this year. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
I got a lot of hate for that, and then it turned out to be right. There's a lot of stuff, man. Varun got so much hate for saying Hyderabad looks
So
average.
can I just say Sky looks pretty good for the ODI side again?
Yeah,
Just putting it out there, guys.
man. I must no. I'm not. Sky, let the guy play T20s. Let him be the best
Just let
T20s.
him bat 20 overs in an ODI. This can't be this hard.
No, it is that hard, man. They're
If he doesn't
different
need the
formats.
power play, he
We
bats
we've been
at
arguing about
any
the fact that
time.
white ball cricket is not white ball cricket for 3-4 years now. It is different
Yeah,
formats. Let him play.
yeah.
I think you
Just
let him
bat him at
focus on T20.
6.
Bring in
Finish
Jaiswal to
him.
open for T20s. Bring in Rinku to finish. Like bring in these guys in T20s, but let the ODI guys be the ODI guys
Yeah,
for now.
Kohli might have a few things to say about that because he was pretty pointed in today's press conference. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear it. I came
So
came
I
here.
think Ravi Shastri made some comments last week about Rohit and Kohli should move on, and the likes of
Mm,
Yashasvi and Rinku and others should be brought, Ruturaj and others should be brought in.
yeah,
And Kohli had to say, like, people say that maybe my game isn't suited to T20, but I trust it, blah, 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 all of this stuff. So it seemed like he had a few scores to settle with the press, and man, back to back hundreds
that's the
by the
best
king.
way to let the bat do the
Yeah.
talking. Let's talk about these next games. So the format is top two teams get two chances to qualify for the final. So there's a qualifier, there's whatever it's called, the qualifier. Gujarat versus CSK, winner goes straight to the final. Then you have Lucknow versus Mumbai, loser is out. Winner of Lucknow versus Mumbai has to have one more shot, which becomes the semi-final against the loser of the qualifier. So let's talk about the four teams then. DJ, feel like a fair four? I mean, you have the two most successful teams in the history and the two newest franchises into the final four. How do you feel about that?
So I think GT certainly miles and streets ahead. And what was telling, I think I heard a stat somewhere that like six of their batters have more than 200 runs this season or something like that.
Wow, yeah,
Of
that's
course,
awesome.
Gill was my pick for the orange cap. I don't know why he's
Yeah,
sitting on the leaderboard for that.
he
But
is
he's got a
fourth
pretty good
right
shot.
now. He
Okay. How far away from
He's
Faf is he?
126 runs behind Faf, but Faf is done and he can do it. He has two up to three
So
games.
Yashaswi is out. Faf is out.
Yashasvi's
Who
out.
else is ahead of him?
Devon is he's only 9 runs behind Devon Conway.
Ooh.
So
So it's
this
between.
will be a fight
Ooh.
between Devon Conway and Shubman Gill. Virat is fifth. He's out. Warner's sixth. He's out. Sky is seventh, but he has a little bit of a gap to make. Ruturaj is eighth. And then Rinku, Heinrich, they're all out. So of the top 10 guys, yeah, it's going to be a fight between Devon and Shubman to overtake Faf now.
Yeah, but coming back to the original point, they had like six players with more than 200 runs. I think Varun made a comment a few weeks ago about how different players had stood up for them in different games. Lots of different men of player of the match awards for those guys. Um, so it's been a team effort again from those guys, ably led by MSD 2.0, otherwise known as Hardik Pandya 1.0, I guess, because Vijay Shankar, who you call Hardik Pandya 2.0, is also in the same team.
You lost way. It's too much. But anyway.
It's too confusing. But I mean, it is, and it is kind of like um, it's interesting that Hardik Pandya, having spent so much time in MI, actually calls MS his captaincy model.
Yeah.
Like he follows MS Dhoni in how he wants to captain people, develop players, and for years Dhoni has done that. He's pulled the Joginder Sharma trick in the World Cup. He's I don't know. He's got like people like Deshpande this season. That's the most obvious example. The guy was hopeless playing for Delhi,
Yeah.
and he's like on the leaderboard for the purple cap this year. But Pandya is very much modeled in that way, and he's kind of taken the team with him. He's quite calm on the field. I like the way he reacts under pressure. Actually, he hasn't been put under that much pressure, but I like the way he reacts. He's lost a game while he was at the crease. Remember, I think that was against Delhi. Maybe that was a Delhi game that he lost while he was at the crease. He took responsibility. Said it was my fault. I should finish the game. So I'm liking Hardik Pandya, and I think I said a few months ago that this is his audition for the, and that was months ago, that he was auditioning for the full job. And I think this is he's won the IPL once. A
Yeah.
second IPL will just be incredible. But he's up against the master,
Yeah. So
MSD
so
himself.
so you mentioned, I mean, how great is that going to be, by the way? It's going to be fantastic to watch.
What's the head-to-head this season? Do you remember? Do you know?
Let us find out. Let's see how quickly I
Oh,
can pull this up.
tell us in the comments, guys, because I'm
Gujarat versus CSK was the first match of the season, and Gujarat won by 5 wickets.
okay.
And then they only played once.
No, then maybe they were in different groups.
Yeah, so they only played once. So this is going to be interesting, right? First
Mm.
match of the season. I'm trying to just remember what happened in that one. CSK 178, Ruturaj made 92, and then Shubman 63. I mean, it's the same story, man. We've seen this story all season. Before we move on to the next team, I will just say, you mentioned the batters. The list for the purple cap right now: Mohammad Shami, 23 wickets. Rashid Khan, 23 wickets.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. And then the third place is Chahal at 21, who's out. Piyush with 20. Varun with 20, who's out. Then Tushar with 20. I mean, 46 wickets from two guys. I mean, it shows you how we will remember. This game is by design biased against batters a little. We will remember Shubman's century and Shankar's 3 half centuries and some heroics from Miller at one point, some heroics from Pandya. But 46 wickets between two bowlers. I mean, that has been the difference for them, right?
And it's crazy. And there are different times of the game as well because Shami takes him up front and at the death. And Rashid, who for years was like people will just play him out and not score runs off him. His comeback and he's given away more runs this year, but he's picked up more wickets this year. He's even scored runs with the bat in one game. They're just having fun. They've kind of been freed up to do it. But as you say, you've got Gill who's doing well on the batting chart, and bowlers win you tournaments. This goes back to the old saying, right? Like batters may win you games, and bowlers will win you tournaments. And that's what I will come to MI, but we'll talk a bit more about that. But that's an incredible stat. I
Yeah,
heard that today actually.
it's
But we
unbelievable.
haven't talked about CSK
Yeah, so
much.
let's keep going. The second team, CSK, right? DJ, I want to have your total download. 17 points. They were only ahead of Lucknow on net run rate, but they qualified well, clearly in second place. The main question I want to ask you is probably not what you're predicting. Everything seems to be lining up for them. The openers are doing well. The bowlers have come together. Deshpande, all that. What has happened to the Dhoni review system?
What happened to it?
He's got so many calls egregiously wrong this year.
Really?
I mean, he went from being the most reliable, like the guy who figured out how to use the system, and he's got so many very, very bad calls this year.
So I've missed this clearly because I remember him calling a no ball earlier in the season. That was one of the first earlier no ball reviews, maybe
Yeah.
first game or second game. I don't know. Sorry, I've totally missed this because clearly maybe I don't even see it when it
I think,
happens.
I mean, the big one was the Yashasvi Jaiswal one against Rajasthan early in the season, and then it just feels like they've won a lot more. But maybe that's my bias coming through, and maybe it's not a well-known thing.
But
But
maybe it sticks out more, right? Because
yeah,
you're so used to him getting it right. I
yeah,
don't know.
100%. I don't think he's. If you look at the stats, he's probably not worse than average, but he probably went from being so much better than average now to being like more normal, and that's a surprise. But let's talk about the rest of the team. Strengths and shortfalls at this point in the season. 8 wins.
I don't know how to do it. Actually,
Yeah.
it's like they won it 2 years ago. They were bottom of the table along with MI
What a seesaw, right?
last
Yeah.
year. They've won it. They're back in the playoffs. I don't. I actually, and they were pretty bad in 2020 as well when he made the youngsters like spark comment. But the youngsters are now Rituraj, who's smashing it. Devon Conway seems to have fulfilled that kind of Michael Hussey type of sole successor role. He's batting really well. Ambati Raidu's been playing there for donkey's years now, diving, taking catches and stuff. You've got Jinke Rane, who's had a new lease of life. Dubey's resurgence, which is something you called actually, and Rahul just said that in the comments as well. I mean, Shivam Dubey, where's the guy been? He was in the India team, seen
He
as the
was like
next.
the next Yuvraj and like the successor to that kind of role, and just disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah, and how is he just suddenly become like this genius all rounder for CSK? Because it's not like he has that much more talent than lots of other lefty all rounders, right? Like who can smash the ball, but he's just. I mean, they've just got the best out of every player. Each of their players perform at 110% of what they're
Yeah.
capable of.
Yeah.
And it's the sum of that. It's like they're like the New Zealand of the IPL, if that makes any sense. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
sum of the parts is
You just
greater
show up.
than
Yeah. Yeah.
the individual players, and they all show up at the right time. Robin Uttapa would show up last year or the year before when you had no, like, when you needed him to. And I don't know, man. It's been
So let,
Pathirana. What a it's like Dhoni's got taking pure revenge for that last ball, slower ball to Shardul from Malinga by unleashing Pathirana on these guys.
so let me ask you the one thing that you haven't mentioned. You've talked a lot about the openers have been good. Dubey's come well. The middle order, Rahane, Rayudu, and then Pathirana, Deshpande. 17 wickets and 153 runs, striking at 137.
Judds.
Ravindra Jadeja is out
Judd.
for the rest of the season, right? That is, and I haven't heard the latest. I don't know how long he's gone for. That's
What's
a
happened?
big. I don't remember. It was an injury, right?
What does that mean? That he can't play the World Test Championship final either? Sorry, I know this is really concerning for CSK fans, but Team India fans should be really terrified of this.
Am I crazy? Did I miss? Did I get this wrong? Is he not out for the rest of the time?
Guys, if you're in the
Okay,
comments,
let me
please
know in the
please
comment.
update us because I'm. This is even this is quite stressful
I
because
thought
he
I saw
scored
that
runs at the
Jadeja's
Oval as well.
And then did you see? By the way, while we wait for somebody to update us, did you see the David Warner Jadeja standoff?
Oh
And that
yes,
was
that
great.
was
What a
the
moment!
best social
What a
media moment.
moment that was. Yeah,
So that was just great because like Jadeja was like faking to throw the ball at Warner, and Warner started doing the sword celebration. It was
it
just
was
amazing.
unbelievable. Okay, it is possible that I'm wrong about this, and I don't know why I saw that
Fake news.
Jadeja's out. So fake news.
Fake
Ignore me.
news.
We'll
Right.
try to add that out. But yeah, let's talk then about Jadeja. Like he's got to be first choice spinner for or first choice batter slash spinner all rounder for us in the World Test Championship, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I mean, but he hasn't had a great season with the bat because you remember the 37 run over against Junkal a few seasons ago. You see him smashing, but he hasn't really done that. He's bowled well. Moeen Ali hasn't done either. I thought that Moeen would be carrying the bulk of the batting here. He hasn't really done very much. I don't know how many wickets he's taken, but Stokes hasn't even played for them this season. I mean, he's played like one or two games as a batter alone. So yeah, I hadn't put them
Yeah.
as a qualifier. I don't know whether you had you got CSK in your top four?
I don't remember. I think you have it written down. But I want to just
Yeah.
quickly correct the record and apologize to our friends. There's not the news that he's out. I think the distraction was all the chaos with the karma tweet that he put out. Have you seen that? He said karma will get back to you sooner or later. It'll definitely will. And then there was some speculation that it was an injury or something. But I think he's talking about them qualifying and making it through. But so anyway, apologies for the fake news world. We're part of the media bias that's spreading rumors now, I guess. So, but anyway, yeah. I mean, I don't remember if I called CSK in, but you have to give them a chance with the
I
kind
think
of
it called Mumbai in actually, not CSK. To be
so
fair.
good. At least I got something right. But I did call Rohit being the X factor, and he has looked like absolute crap. Like it's just been, even though he's got runs, even though he's got
This is not
runs,
a
he's
pun on
been
his stomach upset for one of the games.
no. But there is some there's some comments about the size of his stomach coming in that I'm not showing.
Ouch.
Let's talk about Lucknow quickly, right? KL Rahul, Kyle Mayers were the guys who got them through to got them wins early in this tournament, and then Quinton de Kock has come in. Rahul's obviously injured. How do you feel about the Lucknow team? Like on the streak they're on, they've won three in a row. One was by 1 run, one was by 5 runs. Like it's been tight games, but they've been able to pull through. So how do you feel about their chances against Mumbai?
So I'd in the preview that I did, I'd said that they would qualify because they seem to have a lot of bases covered. And you'd call the X factor as strike rate, but strike rate is actually injured, so he's out of the
Why
IPL.
did you
Right?
think I meant KL was strike rate? What are you talking about? I never said anything like that. I just said
Overrated.
strike rates. Strike rate over it.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, but what I've liked is what they've brought to this season is a bit of scrap, a bit of like you've seen Hardik, not Hardik, Krunal Pandya. I think he's captained well. I think he's been calm when he's needed to be calm. But he's been pretty expressive on the field as well. Stoin, big hitting. Nicky P, really good stuff. The overseas have come to the party. Mohsin has held his nerve in that one over. I thought that was brilliant. I think their worry will be Mayers. What do they do with him? Naveen ul Haq has been a little bit hit and miss for them as well. Bishnoi has been brilliant. I think Bishnoi's had a very good season. I don't know where he is on the purple cap season, but he's bowled well. He's taken important wickets. He's not taken a ton of wickets, but he's taken like 2 wickets in a lot of games, which are key wickets.
Yeah, so you got to do an interesting point I was going to make about Lucknow. Not a single batter in the top 18 run scorers. Nobody's got more than 400. Not a single bowler in the top 10. So you mentioned Bishnoi, who's their highest wicket taking bowler, number 11 with 16 wickets. I mean, you got two guys from Gujarat who've got 23 each, and their highest bowler is 16. And then you have, from a batting standpoint, who do you think their highest run scorers?
Mm, don't say it's KL because he went out long ago. It must be Nicky P.
It is Marcus Stoinis, 368.
Join. Oh, wow.
Then Kyle Mayers, then Nicky P, then Rahul, and then Badoni. Like, so nobody's really had that breakout season. Obviously, they've had chopping and changing because Rahul and Mayers are both there now, but not currently playing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Mayers played 12 games, 12 innings, and Rahul played 9, and they're the
Yeah.
second and fourth. So, yeah, it seems
And
like
QDK
another.
is back though. QDK is a
Yeah,
big
he's only
addition for them. He's
played
probably
4
an
innings. But
upgrade on Rahul when it comes to opening the batting.
yeah.
He's not going to hang around at least.
Yeah. So how do you rate their chances then? And we'll talk final predictions in a minute here when we wrap. But
So they'll be playing Mumbai in Chennai in their first game. I reckon that their spinners
yeah,
have a real shout at, because Mumbai, remember, basically are a one-dimensional team. They're
they
like
can't bowl.
they. It's sad, but they
Yeah, they
really
no no. I agree.
can't. They
Yeah,
just
I agree.
chase whatever's given to them, which they've been bloody successful at this
Yeah,
season. And it
yeah,
is a one-dimensional team. They're like, and the impact player, in fact, is almost like it's been designed for Mumbai this season.
yeah.
I'm not like imputing any like
Ambani is great
ulterior
in the role.
motive here, but it's like it's been designed for them because they
Yeah,
can just replace a bowler with another batter and chalo, just
yeah,
score another
yeah,
30 runs. But I think the battle will be won. You've got Bishnoi, you've got Mishi Bhai, crucial wickets. And you're playing in Chennai. If you get a turning track, they're not going to just be able to swing through the line. You're not Tim David is going to be like just be able to hit everything out of the park.
yeah.
It's not going to go the same way. Right. So if it depends on what track is laid out at Chennai. So I think I'm backing LSG to put it past Mumbai.
Let's take 2 minutes then before we wrap and quickly talk about Mumbai then. Right? Like a bit shocking, right? Before the season, I said they'll come good. Midway through the season, it looked like they were just not having any luck, not looking like they would show up. I mean, there's no clear patterns of wins and losses. They've lost two, won three, lost two, won two, lost, win, lost, win, just all over the map, right? And it's been a roller coaster for Mumbai Indians fans too. But exactly to your point, not a lot to say other than they have not bowled well basically at any point in the season. And some good shouts to this morning or today as we were watching, Akash Madwal got to a great four for. Piyush has looked good and in his resurgence, but really nothing much right up with the bowling. And then with the batting, Ishan's come good once, Quinton's not Quinton, Rohit's come good twice, Sky's come good plenty of times, and then the one game Tim David finished, and
Cam
you were
Green is now just
and
scored
then, of course,
runs.
Cam Green, right? So you were enjoying the Tim David tweet that said, if you need 5 runs in the last over, call us, because they couldn't get 11 in the last over this week, right? So,
They actually
yeah,
got 5 of 6. In fact, they got exactly 5 runs of the
that's
Mohsin
amazing.
Khan over. That was
Amazing.
actually the funny bit. That was
Yeah.
that's quite amusing.
But yeah, that's the summary, right? If the bowlers can restrict it to anything less than, call it 220, 230, 240, whatever the number is, they'll just chase it down.
Oof. In Chennai, what's the
I
highest
mean, maybe
chase
maybe
in this season? I don't know.
maybe the runs are lower, but whatever the amount is, if it's not an unheard of amount, they just back themselves to chase it down. Now, if they lose the toss,
Yeah,
so is it
yeah.
lose toss lose game for Mumbai?
It may well be. It
Yeah,
may well be actually, because if LSG have done pretty well chasing as well. I remember that game where Stoin and Nicky P went nuts and scored all those runs. They chased a 200 plus total themselves. So they're no mugs with it. I think they're just a well-rounded team, man. It would be a shame for LSG to go out to uh, a batting heavy Mumbai Indians who've done phenomenally to get to this stage. I mean,
yeah,
I gave them zero chance of getting here. There was no Bumrah. They had no spin almost. They had unknown players like the guy you named today. I'd never heard of him.
yeah,
Nehal
uh,
Vadera, great. Ritik
yeah,
Shokeen, obviously he was on the show, so we knew he's pretty good. But it's just been a weird season, I have to say. It gives me a weird feeling that Mumbai has qualified, whereas something like an RCB hasn't. Because RCB didn't have a bad season
yeah.
or RR. They did, other than Butler. My God, what went on with him?
Yeah, horrendous, just horrendous. And we'll
Yeah, we'll
do,
talk about
by
that
the
in
way,
the Bakwaskar
I was
Awards.
going to say, I'm plugging our Bakwaskar Awards. If you haven't been listening to previous years of the IPL, at the end, there's all the awards you do, the orange caps and purple caps and upstocks valuable and whatever they are. They're all called, all the awards. We create our own, and we're going to have some fun. Maybe we'll get submissions and stuff. For sure, DJ, I'm putting this plug out there. Dinesh Karthik has to get one. He has now officially got the most ducks in IPL history,
And
overtaken.
Kohli has the most hundreds in IPL history now.
There you go.
King
Unequivocal.
for a reason.
So, right. So let's quickly wrap with the predictions then. Right. So I heard you say in the eliminator, Mumbai will lose and go out to Lucknow.
Do
In
you
the
agree? Disagree with that?
well, I'm hearing yours first, and I'll tell you one. In the
Okay.
first, in the qualifier, you're saying GT beats CSK. Did I hear that?
Oof, that's harder. Oh, it's a Chennai. It's a Chennai. They're both It's a home game for the
Yeah,
Chennai team.
yeah.
I don't know. I can see a quiet word being put into the curator there.
So I will tell you mine as you think of yours. I think Gujarat actually loses to CSK. CSK makes it through to the final.
Mm.
Lucknow beats Mumbai, and then Gujarat beats Lucknow to reset up a Gujarat CSK final at the Motera in Ahmedabad or whatever it's called,
That's not
the
a bad
Modi
shout.
Stadium in
That's a
Ahmedabad,
pretty good shout.
and then
Yeah.
Gujarat takes it home. Back to back titles for Pandya,
Oh,
back to back titles for Pandya, and then
so
he becomes India's
that's where I
T20 captain.
disagree with you
Okay,
because
you want
I
MS to
think
lift the cup and then
I
say
think I
after
think
as of 11:28, consider me retired.
it comes. He's not going to retire. He's going to be back. But I think it's going to go down to. I think the team that wins the qualifier one, which is the first game, which is the top two teams, they have such a huge advantage because they just get to chill till Sunday. They get to unwind, relax.
Yeah,
They don't have to
I,
travel. They don't. Well, they don't travel actually because you're in Chennai. You get
I
to travel
think
to Ahmedabad early.
I disagree only because I think the team that wins the qualifier has 4 5 days off, and the team that loses it plays it on Friday in Ahmedabad, and then they have to play again on Sunday in Ahmedabad, right? So
Yeah,
the
but
see, let's
Ahmedabad's
see,
spoiling at this time of year.
yeah,
And
but
and
I
and there's more cricket under your belt, right? And you're
it's
under stress
yeah,
and
yeah. I mean, you're seeing it either way. You're valuing the strength. I'm valuing the game
yeah.
time at Ahmedabad. So DJ,
So
I want to do
so
a
I
quick
agree
fantasy.
with you.
Yeah,
CSK wins qualifier one, goes
but
and chills in Ahmedabad. MSD enjoys all the vegetarian food in Ahmedabad and like just like
post some
bodies a
reels with some
temple and
dhoklas and all. Yeah,
yeah, dhoklas, khandvi, all of that stuff. Just relaxes, just like gets into the zone. Whereas, and I think Pandya meets him in the final, and then the master unfortunately superstages
Dhoni
the
finishes it off in style. Is that
and
happening?
then we can stop hearing five-time champions from Mumbai because CSK would have won it five times. So
We
we can deal with that fan
we
base
will
again.
never stop hearing that. By the way, even if Delhi wins 8 times and it's the year's 2060, they'll still be calling themselves
It's
five
been a
times.
pretty tough week for you because obviously Mumbai five-time champion has won, and now what? Man City is four-time champion running or
Oh
three-time
no,
champion running?
I would like not to talk about that other sport. But
Oh, this is a great shout, by the way, Rahul Malhotra. I want you to read that out. That's a great shout.
MI CSK final, Pathirana gets Madwal LBW with 2 to get of the final.
And this is obviously the reverse of the
Yeah,
2019
last
final where your favorite player Shadi was trapped LBW
just
by
ridiculous,
Malinga slower.
just unbelievable. It's a great shot. That'll be pretty hilarious actually. DJ, Fantasy League is alive and kicking. We have come to the end of the first stage. So let's talk a little bit about how our teams are doing. I had a really, really good day and a half, and then I had a bad pick by picking Hardik over Shubman, and Hardik got 0 points, basically. So I fell quite a bit with Shubman. So I'm sitting in 11th place right now in the Edison Sledges Fan League.
That's pretty good.
You are in 32nd place, and Varun, who still hasn't joined our league, would be in 50th. So I still have a reasonable shot. I'm only less than 1,000 points off the league.
But you've got your boosters left.
I have 3 boosters remaining, so that's going to be interesting. One of which is the triple captain, which I think is a useless booster, but the other two could be pretty good. In third place for the group season, stayed pretty close to the top all through. Had Shubman today, but not captain. Had Virat vice captain today.
Ooh,
Is
nice.
Blockbuster Boys, Blockbuster RRR Boys is what the name of the team. In second
RRR.
place, we had a surge. Somebody new popped into the top 3. A team called Blackbird, off of using the 2x booster yesterday in the Mumbai Hyderabad game and getting this morning, getting double points for Cam Green and double points for Mayank. So very exciting for that. And then in first place, the team that I love the name that they used before is called
Ghulam.
Kalayo Ka
Oh,
Behtareen Upyog.
nice. That's
Great
pretty
name.
good.
Great name. Must be a line that gets said a lot.
VVS
Also,
Lakshman is playing the fantasy with us.
that's it. Also, a great week. I think the DC CSK game was a big one for them. Ruturaj, Devon Conway, David Warner,
Oh,
Jadeja,
nice.
Akshar, like
That's pretty good.
just everybody.
That's
So
pretty
it's a
awesome.
good fight, you guys, but it's not over yet. Unlimited subs between now and the playoff
Yeah.
round. Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for mentioning my Yashasvi and Chahal day last week. And
Oh,
I particularly enjoyed Varun getting really irritated by it.
and I don't really think about highlights for teams when you're 32nd in the league, so it's a little hard
Listen,
to.
man, you're still checking my team. That's a win for me. I was in the
Yeah,
50s
you
before
have
that.
you have had a really great comeback off of the use of that booster. So remember to use your
Yeah.
boosters well, you guys. Gosh, we'll be back next week after the final is done. and we will do our review of the full IPL and talk about previewing the World Test Championship final. It never
It's
stops.
insane. Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. Thanks to those of you who joined us live on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We love hearing your comments at One Tip One Hand, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can always send us in there. Send us an email, contact at onetiponehand.com. And that brings us to a wrap. We will see you next week when the IPL has wrapped up for the 14th year in a row, whatever year this is. Thank you very much for joining us.